Hello, my name is Audrey Gordon. I'd like to welcome you to day 5 of the 25 days of Copilots. Today we're going to talk about tough stuff that gets easy in Copilot for Power Automate. We're going to have plenty of video content on Power Automate, but I wanted to take a minute to show you what I'm loving about this new experience. So I'm going to go straight to Power Automate and kind of show you a few tips that you might like. All right, these are discoveries I've made as I get used to using Copilot myself. I found that it solves many of the tough stuff that in the past I had to actually learn and practice. So I'm going to make this as big as possible. I'm in the Copilot panel and I'm just adding a prompt here. Generate an email to my manager explaining that I will have to miss the team offsite because of a family emergency. Use a professional tone and make the email concise. The point I want to make about this prompt is I didn't need to actually add any AI builder model to generate text. You can generate text just leveraging the Copilot and its built-in functionality. I wonder if I can say the word profile and see if that helps. Okay, and I'm scrolling down. Okay, so all I did was use the word profile in front of manager and it picked it up. So it may be a little finicky and that's kind of expected with these GPT powered functionality because, you know, it has to kind of pick up the keywords that tell it that. So it did go and use that profile, pass my UPN ID in there, and now this email is probably properly formatted to go to my manager. So kind of keep that kind of thing in mind, and I'll share the prompts I used today in the chat. Okay, really love that. You don't even have to know kind of what actions to add or take the time to add those actions. And I'm deleting these just because they're not related to the next thing I'm going to do. All right, so what else do I love here that I found out? Have you done date formatting and date processing, right? So sometimes you need to find out what is the date 7 days from today. You can say okay, I'm gonna do it this way. Create a task for me, which is due in 7 days from today. Who knows how to calculate 7 days from today? Probably a bunch of you said I do, but then there's a bunch of you that said I don't, right? So let's see if it did this one right. So we'll just wait for it to kick in and then we'll click it on create a task. It doesn't know where, so that's fine. We expect that. I have to tell it which plan and which bucket, stuff like that. But this time the formula looks right. The start time is right now. And the date time to make as the due date is add days UTC 9 plus 7. So this one is right. And you would test each one to check them. But it's amazing to me that sometimes you can get them right and sometimes not, right? So it totally depends on the formula. And I think it also depends on how much time has passed because we will continue to get better at this. All right, so let's try another thing. Let's try using some data. So there's probably an accounts table in this environment. So let's see if we can hit it. So that because that's part of the CRM. I'm sorry, it's part of the CDM. So let's try the last one I did. List the rows in the accounts table where the revenue is greater than 100,000. It all depends whether there's any sample data in this environment. But here's the point. When we get this list rows action, which is the right action, it assumes the current environment, but it will need to know which table. Now, notice it did fill in the table, and it did fill in the proper OData query, but I noticed that sometimes even if we get the right table name in the prompt, you have to select it. So just X out what's there and choose accounts. And now because you selected it, it's now going to pick that up accurately. So what I have learned from these kind of queries is I can do list accounts where the account number is blank, list the accounts where the revenue is greater than, less than something, right? So I can do very simple queries, especially if I use the right words in the prompt. And what I mean by the right words is the actual schema name of the table and the column, all right? So, and if you ever have an error, just go in your data and check that your column name is correct and just reselect the table name if you ever get an error. It's those two things. But at least the OData query is done for you. I want to try one more. Okay, so this last one kind of shows the power of having the Copilot here, because we also have graph capabilities as well. So in some cases, you don't need as much detail. So if I say list my tasks, for instance, right? This is going to use the planner connector, but it's going to use it on a very generic point of view, very similar to what happens when you're in teams and you pin tasks by planner and to do, and you get your tasks that are assigned to you across all of your groups. So this will do that. So that very simple question will configure that. There'll be no parameters needed because it's leveraging your graph information. You can also, in some cases, do like things like give me my teams that I own, information that you would normally find in the Explorer. I like that. And, you know, I just keep trying different things to see what works and what doesn't. And I've been learning how to troubleshoot when, for instance, you may ask it to do a calculation and it may make up a formula. This happens because, as you know, generative AI can hallucinate as it's trying to please us. But I do promise you that engineering is working to orchestrate around these prompts to make them even more efficient. So you need to give us feedback in both communities, both Power Automate and Power Apps. Go to those communities and give feedback on what you need help with most with Copilot. And if you have a particular set of expressions that you'd really like help with, please put that in the ideas forum for us, and then others will upvote it. Tell your friends to upvote them. And engineering will continue to improve the orchestration around your prompts that enables it to do more and more over time. We will continue to evolve the Copilot experience. So keep sharing your feedback is my biggest tip to you today. As we head into the next few days, you'll notice that the topics will diversify. We're going to move into scenario-focused video content. These first 5 days were intended to be super simple for the first-time user who has never used any of the products before. So these first 5 days kind of would help someone extremely new to the Power Platform just get started right away using Copilots. As we move into the next few days, you'll see some real-life business scenarios. And then towards the end, you'll actually see some information about creating plugins for Copilots. And so it'll get very developer-friendly as we head towards Christmas Day. So it's intentionally, progressively getting a little bit more complex. But no matter which day you join in, it should be approachable for all of you at whatever level you're at. So I'm going to stop here today and just let you know that I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this. You should see Danielle coming up next. And then after Danielle, there'll be Eric. And then after Eric, there'll be April. And so you'll see some additional participants that are sharing their expertise in Copilots as well. All right. I'm going to say, please don't miss the next few days. It's going to get exciting. And I'm always wishing you a happy holiday as we continue this series of 25 Days of Copilots. Thank you for watching.